Welcome to Hop on Calls, a short, tactical, and practical podcast for outbound sales professionals looking to level up their game by learning from actual cold calls that I make every week live on LinkedIn. My name's Kevin Hopp, and I'm all about helping outbound sales professionals hone their craft and build high-quality pipeline. Let's dive right in and see what we can learn in this episode. What's up, everybody? I'm your host, Kevin Hopp. Welcome to Hop on Calls. Topher Evans in the building.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
So, did you know that I play guitar?
I did not know that you played guitar.
So, I play guitar. I got really into it in the holidays, actually.
Okay.
Because my uncle and I at Christmas Eve dinner with like my whole mom's side of the family, we played Christmas carols this year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was great. But then I like built up the calluses on my fingers again. I was like getting good at it. Like I played a lot in high school in a bunch of different bands and stuff. And then a little bit in college, but mostly just like the acoustic stuff for the ladies. And then it's hard as like an adult to like find time to play. And part of me thinks that like I should re-record the intro to this and like do it on my electric guitar. I've got a Les Paul.
Oh, absolutely.
Maybe I will one day. Topher.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining, my man. Can you tell the audience, who are you? What do you do? What are we going to be talking about today?
Sure. So my name is Topher Evans. I'm an account executive here at CINC Systems. I recently got promoted. Last year, I helped put down the foundation and led our SDR team. So I have put in quite a few reps on the phone. And CINC Systems is the largest provider of accounting and management software dedicated to the association management space. So we're helping everybody from mom and pop shops to enterprise level customers find efficiencies through our integrations. And if you'd like to learn more about that, you can reach out to me. But most of you guys probably don't care about your HOA as much as we do.
All right. So the long and short of that is you sell software to HOAs, homeowners associations. Yeah. Homeowner associations are the Karen down the street who says, you got to trim your lawn a little bit closer. You can't paint your house purple. That's not in the association guidelines. Right? Is that
we're a step above that. We sell to the management companies that have to deal with the Karens.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
Yep.
I like that. So who are you reaching out to? Like what are some of the titles of people that are going to be on your list?
So most of mine, so as a little history for our little niche of that real estate market, most of our prospects are about 10 years behind as far as technology and everything else. A lot of their stuff looks like Windows 95. Okay. So our target is any management company that's really over 10 associations or over 1,000 doors. And our sweet spot's normally about 50 associations. So anywhere from 50,000 ARR up to 250,000 ARR, depending on location, everything.
All right. So do you have a large total addressable market or a small total addressable market on the biggest size?
I mean, the biggest size are the ones that someone might remember or have heard the name, like First Service Residential or Associa, those big guys where their entire portfolio is as big as my entire company's portfolio. And kind of everything in between.
So we'll say your market is somewhere in the middle, right? Somewhere in the middle.
Right. Our market's kind of, our sweet spot's in the middle. We can handle those larger customers. Just most of those larger customers have made a significant investment in making their own technology.
Sure.
And it's hard for them to kind of break away from that. And what my job is to show them how we can integrate with their current software so they can still love what they're looking at, but have all the efficiencies that we maintain and build out.
Love that. Love that. Well, you just mentioned an interesting word there, Topher. Integration.
Yes.
You know who integrates really well? CINC, baby. Let's give a shout out to our title sponsor of the Hop on Call show, CINC. They're all-in-one business telephony solution. People reach out to me and they don't believe what they see with CINC. There's a lot of companies out there that are selling dialers, like dialing tech. Then you think that you got to go get like a Ring Central or like a MyTel, a ShoreTel system for your phone system. CINC is an evolution on that whole concept. One company gives you access to all of these features: a power dialer, inbound dialing system, intelligent routing, CRM integration, texting. There's nothing CINC can't do. if you are not using a complete system for your telephony, I highly recommend you look into Kixie. Topher and I are going to be ripping Kixie's power call feature. So we're going to be making multiple calls at once. We're probably going to make 200-300 calls in just a short hour here. So shout out to Kixie. Check out Kixie when you guys get a chance. To Topher, fun fact, my man, you are the first person to join Hop on Calls wearing a suit coat. Woo! That's not my style.
Gotta keep it classy. I've got a in-person meeting after this, so had to look nice.
In person?
Yeah.
Who meets in person these days? Nobody.
HOA management companies.
HOA management companies. I love that. So as always, I'm going to be calling for Hop Consulting Group, which means I'm calling founders of technology companies. And what am I talking about on the highest level? I'm talking about calling culture. Okay. I'm trying to establish if having net new conversations with their target market is an initiative for them this year. Every company is in their own state of evolution. Some are focused on inbound marketing. Some have already made an investment in outbound. My whole thing is to try and see where you're at in that entire journey and meet you there. So without further ado, let's jump right in. And I'm going to hit go on my side. You hit go on your side.
All right. Sounds good. Hey, it's Topher at CINC Systems. How are you? I'm doing well. I was calling to see, check in with you guys. I think you might have spoken with about a year ago. I'm going to be in Texas next week, and I wanted to see when would be a good time for me to swing by and visit you guys. Gotcha. Well, that's a good problem to have for sure. So what I might do, it sounds like you guys will be really busy. I may just stop by and bring you guys some donuts, and we can catch up the week after. If you guys are done with year-end financials and bringing those new communities on, kind of talk about some different options we have here at CINC to really help you guys be more efficient out there. Yeah, absolutely. Real quick, who are you guys using right now for your accounting and management software? Not a problem. Okay, excellent. Well, I'll bring by some information. And thank you again for taking my call. Look forward to seeing you guys, even if it's just briefly next week.
So let me guess on that one. When you asked her what you use, she said that's information we don't share with other people.
So I've gotten that response before. She actually said she didn't know. So
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it sounds like
was she the right title for you?
I'm sorry?
She the right title for you? Job title?
So I had that one was a director. So I can see that in the little dialer part. But it didn't sound like it just said director. So she's probably a director over something in particular that's not related to either their managers or to the accounting side. Most of them, when they hear accounting, they automatically shut down. So I try not to use that except as just we do this and this. I don't try to go down the rabbit hole with the accounting because if it's someone who knows what they're talking about, they're already over my head.
Yeah. They're going to go, someone who this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's a tip that everyone can take to the bank here, including you, Topher, take it or leave it. But here's a tip that I always teach teams when you're calling in, and if you understand that you're selling, you're going to have to replace something they already have, or if it's a really true category sale. For instance, one of my clients is a cybersecurity company. We're not calling people for the first time to introduce the idea of cybersecurity.
Right.
If you don't have cybersecurity, if you have nothing in place today, I probably don't even want to sell to you because you're stuck in 1985, right?
Yeah. So my equivalent of that is them using QuickBooks. So same thing.
Yeah. So here's the technique. Here's the technique that everyone can take away from this. Assume something. Have an assumption when you walk into the call and let them correct you. Now, this is a psychology thing. I don't know if you guys notice. My big joke with my wife is that I'm basically a doctor. Okay. I have a degree from UC Santa Barbara, and it's a BA in psychology, and I barely graduated, but we're not going to talk about that. All right.
Yeah.
I'm basically a doctor. What I learned in psychology is there is a mental load when you ask someone an open-ended question, like, what accounting software are you using? And they have to identify that. They got 17 different softwares in their head that they're thinking about. Everything from I just use Square to pay for my coffee to I'm logging into Outlook for my email. There's a mental load that people have when you ask them specific questions like that, and they have to choose it and make a decision and say, this is what I'm doing. It is way less of a mental load if you come in with the assumption. And another way to look at this is lead the witness, right? When detectives interview perpetrators, they say things like, and by the way, you guys, if you guys don't know who Chris Voss is, Chris Voss, incredible learning resource for salespeople. He was an FBI hostage negotiator, wrote some of the most key books on negotiating, on how to have conversations, on how to have high tense conversations, right? One of the things he talks about is this idea of like leading the witness, right? Leading the witness is saying, so how long did you walk for?
Hey, it's Tom.
Ooh, there we go.
I'm sorry. Is this services? I apologize. I'll make that note and I'll make sure to give you guys a call back later. Do you guys manage associations as well? Gotcha. I'll go ahead and make sure we update our list. I apologize. Hope you have a good day. All right, bye.
Okay. So let me wrap this idea real quick. So the idea is you could say, and all police start here. They start here, which is, what were you doing the night of the 5th? Right? Once they bring you in and once they're interrogating you, really, the conversation's not what were you doing on the 5th? It's how long were you at your girlfriend's house on the 5th? Well, there's an assumption built in there. Right. Well, you're assuming I have a girlfriend that I was at her house at this, right? Because they're investigating you for your girlfriend got murdered. And then you're way more likely to give the direct answer to that question because you lowered the mental load. The mental load is when people hear things that are incorrect, they can't help but to correct it. They can't help but to correct it, right?
That's really interesting because, I mean, there's only a handful of people in my space that are doing any type of outbound. So it makes sense to, like, if they're a big enough company, be like, hey, so how long have you guys been with Appfolio or whatever it may be?
Exactly. So if you lead with how long have you been with Appfolio, that's a very pointed direct question, and they can't help but to correct you. If you're wrong, or if you're right, cool. Sounds like you did your homework. But if you're wrong, then they say, oh no, we're not with Appfolio, we're with Acme Corp. And then you're like, oh, cool, Acme Corp. Now you know exactly where to take the conversation, right?
That's awesome. No, so I haven't thought about it that way. That's a really good tip.
Lower the effort, make it a yes, make it a correct me if I'm wrong scenario, and people can't help but to correct you. That's like my big takeaway here.
That's really cool.
And I learned that from the police and hostage negotiating.
Yep. I got my BA and BS is how I say it. So I had political science major. So lawyer, lobbyist, or politician. I was going to somewhere else regardless. Hey, how are you guys doing today? My name is Topher. I was calling to see if you was in. Sure. Like I said, my name is Topher. I'm with CINC Systems. She wasn't expecting my phone call. I was just calling to let her know that I was going to be in the area next week and wanted to see when would be a good time for me to swing by and introduce myself and CINC Systems. We're accounting and management software. So I think you guys might be using Appfolio. Oh, excellent. Very cool. Perfect. I absolutely will do. And then just so I can plan my day better next week, what time or what days are you guys normally, like, everybody in the office? More like Tuesday or Thursday? Gotcha. Well, you guys are ahead of the curve then. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate you taking my call today. Thanks, you too. Bye-bye.
All right.
They were virtual before the pandemic. So I don't have an office to go to. But they seemed really receptive. That I know we were literally just talking about it, but that line worked. Like, oh no, we developed our own proprietary. This is blah blah blah. Like
immediate
gratification.
Yep, that's what I'm talking about. This is why I love calls. It all happens so quickly.
And that's all we got for today's episode of Hop on Calls, powered by Kixie. Be sure to tune into the live recordings every Tuesday on LinkedIn. Would love to have your comments, reactions, questions. It's a really good learning environment for anyone that is looking to do outbound sales better. If your organization is actively focusing on this, feel free to reach out to me, Kevin Hopp, on LinkedIn, or go to hopconsultinggroup.com. I'll see you next time. Cheers.